Hey everyone, I'm Tyler.
I'm Brendan.
We're Forestlake, and 1 year ago today we started writing our song Coconut Chapstick.
Here's how we wrote it.
Dinner at the Dolce Vita in Little Italy. It was you and me. I was falling in love with the pretty little thing in front of me. But I saw a few.
So Coconut Chapstick was kind of an interesting one for us. This was the first one that we wrote together, but yet we were like 1,000 miles away. So I think all in all, it took us months, a couple months to write, right?
From the moment we wrote it to the moment it actually officially got released, it took 6 months. The hardest part of the song for us was probably the mastering process. So after getting back the mix from Daniela, we wanted to try our hand at a couple different people that were doing the masters and who really we thought had the better master. The original group that kind of exposed us to Daniela was CSP Music Group based out of Atlanta. They provided mastering engineers, really well-known guys in the industry. Jay Horesco and Skinny Mix, I think is his name.
Yeah.
But it wasn't any knock to their skill or expertise, but we just wanted to try. Just, put it out there and see who could give us something back.
I think we've realized from like going through these different iterations that Coconut Chapstick's a very like sensitive song.
Yeah.
So it kind of took us a while to get that sound that we were looking for, and it's very like touchy. So a couple of the masters that we got back were either like too heavily distorted, or it wasn't the feel that we were looking for. And I think we ended up with Mike's mix or Mike's master.
So he was the third and final one.
Yeah.
It went to Ted Jensen after CSP Music Group. Guy based out of Nashville, does really great work with a lot of people there. And then we found a guy on the West Coast named Mike Bozzi who does phenomenal stuff. And he just seemed to really put the care and love that we wanted into a master.
This one's interesting.
Yeah, so the song that the girl is about simply had coconut chapstick. Obviously, kisses were exchanged. The coconut chapstick was tasted. I don't even like coconut, but it reflected the song well, and I thought, more importantly, it was very visual to name a song such a thing, because sometimes I struggle with song names, but when you think of coconut chapstick or when you read it, you're like, whoa, what?
I remember when you sent me the MP3, it was titled Coconut Chapstick, and
Yeah.
I was like, where do you get these names from?
Yeah, it's just cool, it's unique, and as soon as I thought of like, dang, what is it about? That's what I can name it, and it's just
And if you happen to tune into the Forestlake morning show,
yes,
you notice this little guy up there on the monitor.
yeah,
That is the Coconut Chapstick.
yeah, not even Burt's Bees. This is Palmer's coconut oil formula, but this is the actual chapstick that she had. Now I don't know if it's cool to have this or not, but we have it just because it's a memento for that song.
Hey, never trust a girl who doesn't use Burt's.
Yeah, as so told by the Tori Cohen, our unofficial third member of the band. But yeah, so that's how the song came about. The song name came about.
Man, this is a tough one.
Why?
I don't know. So this was one where, like, I recorded it here in Florida. Tyler was still living in Ohio at the time, so
Yeah.
we didn't really have like that same room collab that we have on the stuff that we're working on nowadays. So we're kind of limited in that aspect. But I don't know. Maybe work on. For me, I'd probably say some of the verses, kind of up the production on the verses.
Yeah.
Without over producing it, but you can sit there and go like, you can overproduce a song so easily, especially Coconut. It's more of a dialed back sound, so I think it's good where it's at now.
I agree. I think if there was anything to change, it would maybe just add a little more production in that verse too, just because it is very bare. But at the same time, I think it is what it is for a reason, and I almost don't want to go back and change anything if I could, because in its rawest form of us writing that's what we got, and it led us to this.
It's locked in now.
So there's no changing it. But if we could, it would probably be just a little more production on verse 2. So favorite lyric is probably going to be Dinner at La Dolce Vita, because it hits you right when you hear it, and that's when the chorus comes in, and I feel like it's very powerful. other than its significance as a place being from Cleveland, which I think you'll explain. But the only other part that I like is at the very tail end of the song, there's 3 notes that you can hardly hear, but if you crank it up on volume or you have your headphones in, you'll hear 3 little guitar things that I left in there. I'm not really a guitar player. That's why we have a great guitar player in the band. But there were 3 notes I hit that kind of just accented the guitar part that you wrote. That I
like those.
Yeah, I was adamant about having those in there, and they're so subtle that if you notice they're there, you can feel it. Just a little bit more emotion coming from it.
Yeah. I do like that Dinner at La Dolce Vita, just because we grew up in Cleveland. You know, we'd all been to Little Italy, that part where that restaurant is. So it's kind of cool imagery to have in a song.
It's a great place to take a girl on a date if you're curious, or vice versa. If you're seeing a male, take him on a date to the La Dolce Vita. I
would also say, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I think we'll dive into the actual tracks here in a minute, but there's this cathedral guitar sound in the chorus, which you can't hear just overall in the chorus, but it's kind of hidden in there, and it's meant to mimic a Pog pedal, which is like the octave synth pedal, and you play it. I'm just playing like these big chords, and it's this massive cathedral. Yeah, and it's really cool. We'll listen to it in a minute.
It's pretty cool.
Okay, so we're in the session of Coconut here. Tyler had originally sent me that like initial voice memo of the song, of the idea that he had just him in an acoustic, and I had to he did a little acoustic guitar riff, and I basically went off of that, and that kind of started the whole song, and I believe that was this one here, but he was doing a little on acoustic, and I was like, man, that would sound cool on electric, and so I popped on a 59 Bassman on the Kemper and just recorded this guy. And that kind of inspired everything from there and just kind of built up around it. So we have this really cool church guitar that we were talking about earlier here. And then adding just kind of a subtle riff underneath it.
That subtle riff that he's talking about right there is just labeled as our guitar main riff. It's really powerful. It kind of gives its grit in there, just with that Les Paul playing that.
Yeah, this one here.
It's so nice. That's my favorite.
It's very soothing.
That's very soothing.
Yeah, but that's kind of like the meat of the chorus, and then just kind of built up around it. We have this synth Vox thing. You know, everyone hates on using Expand, but guys, we use it all over.
Yeah, and
like
Expand is a stock plugin if you don't know, and it's like the cheese plugin of Pro Tools. I feel like
it is, but you know, we make it sound good.
Yeah, it's how you use it.
And then just kind of supporting it, we have a left and a right guitar, phased out, nothing crazy, and then just a bass underneath, also Expand. And I think that's kind of it. We have some toms up here, some, you know, high verb tambos. I think these are Expand too. We talked about these before as being like Lion King drums.
Very Lion King-esque, yeah.
And that's kind of true.
Does this session have those 3 notes at the end? I don't know.
No, so this was like the initial production session that I opened up.
You got. Okay.
So I think we'll show like the Brendan update is what Tyler called it.
Mm-hmm.
But this was the session that I then sent back to Tyler, and he took into the studio with him.
Yeah.
That's cool.
If you're telling me that's in there, I had no idea. That's that swell with those little like fucking.
You actually had no idea?
I didn't have any idea that's what it was.
So it's 3 swells here. That's the first one.
Wow. That's hot.
And this guy. And then the actual chord.
That's fucking cool. That's cool shit. Wait, unsolo that? That goes. Oh my gosh. That's my first time hearing that shit solo.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's it.
Thank you so much for listening to the song and watching this video. We're Forestlake. Stay tuned for more.
Dinner at the Dolce Vita in Little Italy. It was you and me. I was falling in love.